receivers. Ole Miss really kind of tagged in pretty good in the secondary. I think it'll be a closer game, but I'd be shocked if Ole Miss didn't end up winning this game. I just think they're the better team. They have more talent. They're more physical. And I think in these situations, as we get into the playoffs, the more physical team wins. And that's Ole Miss at this point. But I think it'll be closer than it was the last time. It couldn't be any worse if it was Tulane. But, it's unprecedented territory, for both teams, but especially Tulane. When you think about the run they've had over the last 4 years, where this program was and then where it is today.
Good morning, everybody. We are here to discuss the essence.
Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
What Willie Fritz built a couple years back, and, he leaves to go to Houston. And I get asked this a lot, on shows across the country about what team you think could be the next Texas Tech. And I always tell them Houston. Players in that area, and it's real close, man. They got a ton of them in the Houston area. And Willie Fritz is a tremendous coach, but what John Summerall did is just remarkable. It's rare that you have a coach with that type of kind of setup, how he built this team, the success he had the last couple of years he was here at Tulane, and then to have somebody sort of trump that and rebuilding each year. That's why I think a lot of Florida fans were upset with John Summerall. I think a lot of it had to do with Billy Napier, with a somewhat similar background. Billy was much more on offense. John's much more on the defensive side, but their makeup as a head coach is quite different. I don't see how he doesn't have great success at Florida, but it's been a great run to cover Tulane for the last 5 years. I really couldn't say that for any other period of time because it's been sort of a stock market run for them where they will have a good season and then it kind of hit the low and then up and down, up and down. The consistency of Tulane is remarkable. And to get into the playoff 12, just great run by Summerall.
Were you surprised that they promoted Will Hall, Mike D?
Yes. I thought they'd go outside the sort of Tulane family to hire a head coach. And I think for a lot of people, the question mark is, and I know Will has tried to, because we had him on last Thursday, and he's tried to somewhat put some distance between, things happened at Southern Miss, and I was successful before, and that is true, but it is part of your record, why it came apart at Southern Miss. And so I was a little bit surprised. I thought they would go with a coach that had some success before at another school and try to duplicate what they did with Summerall. But they stayed in house with Will, and I think he's a really good offensive coach. Really do. As a head coach, that's a different matter. Some people don't handle the big room well. They can handle the smaller variety of one thing at a time, but the big room is difficult. So I was surprised there. But they do have money. They do have resources at Tulane, and they're one of the first teams that really embraced the NIL transfer portal. And they set up a program here from a fundraising standpoint and really were one of the few, I think, teams that got on that really quickly, understanding the ever-changing world of college athletics, that you just can't build through high school recruits. You have to be able to go out and bring in people from other schools with experience and fill in need spots because you're going to lose them. Look what happened to Tulane last year. They lost their star quarterback in Darian Mensah to Duke. He leads them to an ACC championship. Their star running back, Mekhi Hughes, left to go to Oregon. That did work out for him there, and he's back in the transfer portal. They lost their starting tight end in the transfer portal. And then 4 of their top 5 receivers graduated, and and I think of their 5 top defensive backs who all left. 4 of them are in the National Football League, either on 53-man rosters or on practice squads.
Wow.
And so he told me the story that when they started working out before the spring, he got the team to buy these pullover shirts with names on the back. He said, we had so many new people, I want to make sure I called them by the right name.
Love it. I love it. Mike Detillier, WWL Radio New Orleans. He joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. This is 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Tulane at Ole Miss this weekend, college football playoff game. Ole Miss is laying 17.5. Mike, what was the reaction when it broke yesterday or the day before where John Summerall donated $100,000 to Tulane's NIL?
Let me just say I was sort of tipped off about it. But, a lot of people, John Summerall has been great for the community. He's always out and about. He is someone who he's not just coaching. He understands that here in Louisiana, just like it is in Mississippi, to be out with the fans and to be part of the community matters, because we all part of a small community down here in Louisiana or in Mississippi, even Alabama, same way. And I think he understood that. And he's always been one to give back. He's always been someone who he's great one-on-one, talking to people. But I think he always feels like there's something I need to give back. And that is something come across, since we've talked about it, to give back to the community. So great spot for him. He would have done it no matter what. Remember just a year ago, Brian Kelly gave $1 million to LSU.
Well, that worked out. They gave him 52 to leave or whatever it was.
So, hey, that's a pretty good deal, right? Because I think at this time, Brian didn't have that sort of sense about him, about community, and that it's smaller here and you got to get yourself involved. And either someone told him or it came to him that, hey, you better get yourself involved with the community. And he did I do give him credit. He did give back $1 million. And I think with Summerall, he's always been open to do things. I've never been around a head coach who's been this successful and been this open from a media standpoint and also from the public view standpoint. Very few guys are like that. And he's unique with it, but he understands this is a different world in which you live in. And we all getting adjusted to it because of the fact that if you think it's going back to your grandpa's days and your daddy's days of you and them watching college football together and that's how it's going to be, no, it's changed. And it's not going back. You're not putting that genie back in the bottle.
No.
I think he understood that as a young coach, and that's why I think Florida will have great success and very quickly with John Summerall.
I agree. And hiring Brad White as a defensive coordinator, they had already connected. Summerall had hired him at Kentucky. But hiring Brad White as the DC at Florida is a home run. That combo of Summerall and Brad White is probably the best combo in the league. And then he hired Faulkner from Georgia Tech, and he's made some other good hires. So we're live in the Bank Plus studio. Mike Detillier on the Out of Bounds show, brought to you by Sound and Communications. Your next video wall for your business or school, powered by soundcomav.com. Mike D, Eddie O. Is Eddie O going to join the Lane Kiffin staff? What do you think is going to happen here?
We've talked, and I think, him and Lane have had a couple conversations, but he has not been offered anything. So I do know one thing: he wants to coach again, and he made it pretty clear over the weekend that he is going to coach again. But so what I think happens here is that he's got a job, but he's really waiting to see if something doesn't open up at LSU. I think he's got a job offer he would take, but he's waiting to see.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He's back in Louisiana and he's living back in Baton Rouge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was living in South Florida with the Twins who were coaching at Miami of Florida, and but he is living back in Louisiana in Baton Rouge. So we'll see what happens with that. So far, no offer from Lane Kiffin. We've talked about this before. Him and Lane, I mean, they were as close could be before. But you know, this is a term. I had an old boss years ago tell me this. He says, everybody wants to bring the band back together until they think about what the band did together.
No doubt. No doubt.
So you can piece that one together real quick.
Didn't Ogeron coach Cristobal when he was at Miami, Mike D?
He sure did. And, he's got some great stories with Mario. And I think Mario wanted him on the staff at one time. And, that would be a crazy deal, too, because Ed coached for Jimmy Johnson and Dennis Erickson at Miami of Florida. He, with both coaches there. And so, he did coach Mario, and I know Mario reached out to him to be like a consultant to him to kind of watch over practices and stuff like that, and kind of how they did things to recruit. Because, you think about that run the Hurricanes had, I would say 80% of that was guys from that one little area that they were recruiting from. Because I know Ed would always say you could kind of draw a circle within 125 miles, and that's where they were getting the vast majority of their players. And they sort of lost that. They really did. And, every coach has a different way of recruiting, because he would always laugh at me about you sort of like Jimmy, in that my thing about recruiting linemen is unless I can get a great center or a great guard, I'm all about accumulating tackles, because tackles can play guard. Most of the time, a guard can't play tackle. If he's inside at the high school level, he's not going to project to playing tackle. And that was Jimmy's idea. Okay, if you can find a great center or a guy who was terrific at the guard, let's get him. But let's go after tackles, and then we can move them around a little bit. And so it was all, and I think Mario's all about size and speed. That's his deal. He wants a big man that's got some movement skills. And so you can see it has paid off over the last couple of years from Miami of Florida. Hasn't gotten them into the top 12, but up until what they did this year. But I think Cristobal's got a good angle, because he knew that area very, very well. And Ed knew it really, really well. Same thing in Louisiana. I mean, Ed can recruit. He's one of the best recruiters in the country. He sat out a few years. His battery is all charged up, and he's ready to go. But we'll see what happens with him. I do know he wants to coach, and he's made it clear that he will coach somewhere in 2026.
All right, Eddie O. And you feel like he'll be on the field or possibly in-house paid at a high level analyst too?
That part I can't tell you, because that part he's kind of kept kind of tight to the vest with certain things. Okay. But all I know is people who, and we've had him on, I think like 3 times within the last 2 months. And we get responses that's unreal, because the good thing about him is you ask him a question and he runs with that like Barry Sanders would run an open field.
Yes.
Man, he can tell stories, and he got them. I mean, and you think about those teams that he coached at Miami of Florida, then seeing what happened with USC with Pete Carroll and the great success they had there. Things weren't successful for him at Ole Miss as a head coach. And then, he has another run with Kiffin 1 year at Tennessee and then back at USC. And then, being able to get the head coaching job at LSU and with all those players in that 2019 season, man. So, you just ask him a question and you sit back and you're going to get quite an answer.
Yeah, that was funny last week when he was on a show and he talked about he and Tuberville as GAs buying KFC and a case of beer and fighting over the white meat.
That one I've heard before, and man, to think about both those guys are roommates, and Tuberville's now with a senator, kind of how that their lives are so different. That's why you just never know in life. But he had always told me, I think one day Tuberville is going to be a politician. And this was long before, Tommy got into the political world. Ed made that comment to me. He said, hey, I lived with him all that time as roommates. I wasn't making no money. He said Tommy was making a little bit, but I wasn't making much money. And he had made that comment that I think one day Tuberville's going to end up being a politician. Sure as hell he was right.
We'll leave it there. We'll hit Tyler Shuck and the Saints next week. I was at the game on Sunday, back-to-back, 2 wins in a row for the Saints. And I know Mike D does. I think they've hit on a QB. And so.
No thinking, Bo. No thinking anymore. They've hit on one.
All right.
They've hit on that quarterback. And the next 2 weeks, they play the Jets and the Titans.
Oh, wow. That could be 2 more wins. All right, Mike D, have a great week, my man.
Thank you, brother.
Merry Christmas, buddy. Mike Detillier, he'll join us next Tuesday, right before Christmas. Yeah. Is that right? I think I've got that right. I'm kind of confused with the travel. But we are the Out of Bounds show. I'm not confused about this. Lunch today at Burgers Blues Barbecue, B3, Dogwood, Flowwood. They got blue plates. They got delicious burgers, smash burgers, unbelievable barbecue, pulled pork nachos, B3, Burgers Blues Barbecue, Dogwood, Flowwood.
Say, kids, what time is it?
It's 9 a.m., and this ain't no kiddie show. It's the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds.
All aboard!
As Mississippi's #1 morning show rolls on the Zone 105.9 and online at thezone1059.com.
All right, good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone, brought to you by Grit Fitness and Training on Lakeland Drive. That's Grit Fitness and Training on Lakeland Drive. And let me tell you about Grit Fitness and Training. They've got boot camp classes at Grit, speed and agility classes for kids at Grit. New gym memberships for the new year at Grit Fitness and Training Facility on Lakeland Drive behind Ergon. On Lakeland Drive behind Ergon, Grit. Boot camp classes, speed and agility classes for kids, and new gym memberships for the new year. Call Grit today. Stop by, check it out. We mentioned Jay Powell is the director of baseball operations there. They've got indoor, outdoor turf, indoor batting cages, pitching mounds, softball, all that. And then, of course, they've got boot camp classes, speed and agility classes for kids, and new gym memberships, all at Grit Fitness and Training Facility right there on Lakeland Drive in Flowood behind Ergon and Mirror Lake. All right. We're still not up with the audio. Okay. All right. So the Golden Moon Casino text line is 601-885-3776. Twitter X at Bo Bounds. And the Stella Artois caller line is 601-707-3750. Lunch today brought to you by Taste Italian Kitchen in the Renaissance. Enjoy any of their amazing sandwiches, salads, calamari, the world-famous meatball. And their spinach and artichoke dip is delicious at Taste Italian Kitchen in the Renaissance, tasteitaliankitchen.com. And there's one in Starkville, too. But the one in the Renaissance is 2 miles from us, just right past the men's clinic in Madison, and then Juniker Jewelry. And then you head on down into the Renaissance, and you can find Taste Italian Kitchen for lunch. It was packed last week. Good crowd there. When I dove in the bar and grabbed a quick Caesar salad, and world-famous meatball, which I think is the perfect lunch combo at Taste Italian Kitchen. Hit them up. You're going to need your reservations, tasteitaliankitchen.com.
Are you taking Jackson out for his birthday?
I'm not.
No,
but I'll pay for it.
He does do that. Smart.
So Jackson got, if you're just now joining us, he got his Christmas card pick last night at Bass Pro Shop with his 3 dogs, and his girlfriend made the cut for the first time. Have you ever had a girl in the pick?
Never.
Okay.
Not a one.
All right. And Jackson's in a tracksuit. It looks like some of the stuff that Johnny Depp wore in Blow.
Yeah. Okay.
In the movie Blow.
Fair enough.
Some of those sweet tracksuits.
Spot on.
That Depp. Unfortunately, Jackson decided to wear an undershirt. Johnny Depp did not.
Yeah,
he just wore, in the 70s, if you had it going on, you just wore a tracksuit with no undershirt.
Yeah, see, I should have done that.
And you should have had on big drug dealer aviator glasses.
Yeah.
But other than that, it looks good.
It's a good look.
It's a good look. The tracksuit
It's strong.
is pretty.
It's beautiful.
You look like an AAU summer league coach who doesn't believe in any fundamentals or playing defense.
For what?
And a third-party flesh peddler where you're trying to run at least 5 to 6 kids to different colleges around the country.
Yeah, what is defense?
Right. That's what you said your whole life.
Shoot that thing. We're here to shoot.
You're a shooter.
That's it.
Shooters shoot.
I'm literally here to score.
Yeah. The Santa Claus, it's funny some of the comments. Mackenzie's sitting on Santa's lap.
Yeah.
And
That was Santa's suggestion, too. I told you we about had to have it out.
that's about a 35-year age gap.
It's fine.
Okay. What's Lane Kiffin going to do when he's 67? Is he still going to be dating 32-year-olds?
Why not?
Okay. He already threw up a pic of he and a woman at hot yoga couple of days. So he's already, if I had to guess, he's going to all the hot yoga places trying to figure out which one he wants to go to on a daily basis.
Boy, Lane.
So, and Lane has been, he tweeted a pretty good amount at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
I feel like he's at least tripled the amount he's tweeting since becoming the LSU head coach.
Got to pour it on.
And so, yeah. Oh, yeah. Ewing says Jackson stole his tracksuit from Tony Soprano. That's another one.
That's great.
Tony.
That's great.
Tony didn't believe in an undershirt. He wanted you to see all that chest hair.
I could have pulled that. And I should have pulled that. Well, I don't know if Bass
I think
Pro
you
would
should have done the tracksuit with no undershirt.
That's right.
And by the way, for those listening, put you on a tracksuit today.
Yeah, let's see what dude change your
A
life.
good-looking tracksuit, no undershirt, and go to Taste Italian Kitchen.
I mean,
I thought he was going to go with the robe route.
Well, he mentioned he debated it.
I don't think we would have made it if I'd done the robe. That wouldn't happen.
People on the text line believe that Jackson will be engaged by next year. So Robert M. says next year this picture will come with an engagement ring. So there you go. But if you want to see a picture, the 2025 Jay Meadows Christmas card pick, go to Twitter X at Bo Bounds. Twitter X at Bo Bounds. We are in debation. Somebody I knew used that word in the 90s when he was debating whether to go to happy hour.
Well.
He said, I'm in debation. Okay. So we're in debation as far as, Jay Meadows.
Over under by this time next year that J Med will be engaged.
Time.
I don't know. I'm not ready to go there.
I wouldn't either.
Robert says Jackson looks like a G League basketball assistant coach.
That's what's up.
That is
That's
so
lit.
good.
I'm in.
That is so good.
That's partying.
Yeah. So, but AAU too.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that track suits
Top
and
of the
AAU
for sure.
and no fundamentals and bags of cash. That is a
Fundamentals.
Netflix 5-season series.
Fundamentals.
Right. Who the hell wants to get in a defensive
Dude,
stance?
I see fun, and that's where we're stopping.
Right. Robert says, show a little chest hair, Jackson.
Yeah, that's on me.
Okay.
For sure.
Tyler says Jackson's wearing Diego Pavia's 2025 leisure wear line.
Nice.
Let's talk about that.
Golly,
People got
Pavia's
mad
such
at
a
Diego Pavia
Loser.
they said that he was a sore loser over the weekend in the Heisman race. Do you agree or disagree?
I mean, that
Changed my opinion on him.
Really?
Yeah, it really did. Changed the way I view him.
Yeah.
I'm dead serious. I love that guy up until this weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I
What
can't
a
believe
loser.
you're that butthurt
What
over
a
this.
loser.
All right, I'd like your reaction on the text line. The Golden Moon Casino text line. The lobby is so pretty. They decorated the Pearl River Resort property like champs. It looks great. Golden Moon, Silver Star, Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. Hit it right now, Pearl River Resort. Enjoy 24 to 48 hours of festive fun at Pearl River Resort. Back in a second. Good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone, brought to you by Grit Fitness and Training. Right there on Lakeland Drive behind Ergon and Mirror Lake. Grit Fitness and Training. Right now, they're offering boot camp classes, speed and agility classes for kids, and new gym memberships, not counting the indoor turf, the batting cages, the pitching mounds, the outdoor turf, all at Grit Fitness and Training, Lakeland Drive, baby. Grit Mania right here. Mandy's going to have to join us in studio and tell us more about what they're doing. Jay Powell is the director of baseball operations for Grit Fitness and Training. They had a hell of a fall. They had a huge Major League Baseball day a couple of weeks ago. We talked about Connor Griffin, Jake Mangum, among others, JT Ginn. I mean, it was a who's who list of guys who like to train at Grit Fitness and Training on Lakeland Drive in the off season. We're live in the Bank Plus studio, Out of Bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. If you want to read an unbelievable article on Lane Kiffin, you can go to the New York Times, nytimes.com, or The Athletic. What Lane Kiffin left behind in Oxford, the sound and fury of an Ole Miss fan base scorned. It's by Christopher Kamrani and Joe Rexroad, or Rexroad A.
Ooh,
That would kind of, maybe it would be that maybe on Rodeo Drive.
That's what I
right?
want.
In Beverly Hills. There's some great quotes in here. They got the Velvet Ditch owner. I mean, we are so collegiate. I just love all this stuff. It's so funny. The article starts off interviewing the owner of the Velvet Ditch, which is a guy named Jared Foster.
Yeah, my boy.
Patrick Kelly with Finch and Kelly has told us about the Velvet Ditch the last couple of years. It's Lane's go-to place. It's really one of the only places he would go. He had access to it, in and out. He would take recruits there, whatever. They had raised $50,000 to build a statue of him, according to this article. And Foster is a one-time Ole Miss signee.
He is.
And he said, and I quote, "When you literally have the answer to something and you pretend you don't, and when you feel guilty about the decision you made, but you blame everybody else, that's narcissism, okay? I think every human in their life may have an experience like that, but when it's a consistent thing that happens in every location you've been to, you have to start to wonder if that's a permanent trait. And if so, Ole Miss's football players are in better hands." End of quote by the owner of Velvet Ditch, and that would be Jason Foster.
Former Madison Central quarterback.
Okay. So then there's a lady, Mary Ryan, not the comedian that we had on, who is amazing out of Hattiesburg, and about to be a superstar. But she works at Cat Daddy's apparel shop and also bartends across the street at Proud Larry's, which is one of my favorite spots in Oxford. And she said people around town had bought into the new man, and I quote, narrative with Kiffin, but never should have. And I quote Mary Ryan, "I think he's kind of an egomaniac that's kind of come out in the past few weeks, but that's happened before with other jobs he's left. I think everybody's realizing he's a snake. For a minute, we were believing he was changed. I don't think anybody believes that anymore."
That's ridiculous.
So, and then one more quote in here is from a former coach who worked with Lane Kiffin, and I quote, "I think he feeds off the drama." We call it drama. "He just can't help himself. Where do you have the time for all that?" End of quote. So you can read through that today on The Athletic. It walks you through the Kiffin Ole Miss love affair and breakup. And I said this, and we let it play out. I mean, I was surprised he stayed as long as he did with as many job openings, but there's so many athletic directors who don't want to deal with Lane's BS and baggage.
Sure.
Okay. But Ole Miss did, and he gave them something that they have never experienced, winning at a level they've never experienced at, right?
Yeah.
And now we talked, the first hour and a half of the show was on Tulane and Ole Miss. We went pretty deep dive with Mike Detillier, who has John Summerall on every week down on WWL, and we walked you through that, okay? And Ole Miss is a 17.5-point favorite over Tulane, as they should be. And they won by 35 points in September. Can John Summerall and Tulane close the gap on Saturday? Now, we got a triple header college football playoff on Saturday.
Jeez.
The problem is 2 of the games are G5 versus Power 4. One is 17.5-point line. The other one's a 21-point line. Now, the other 2 games are spicy,
right,
and sexy. Ella Hall used to get mad at me when I would use that word, but she was little and she was listening. Dad, I'll never forget that. She was like, 6, 7, 8 years old, and they'd be going to the pool or something. She'd listen to me for 5 minutes, and she'd say, Dad, later that day, I'd come, Dad, you can't say sexy on the air. I go, I got you. All right.
Like that. Hey.
But I'll say this, Bama at Oklahoma, only 1.5. This could be a hell of a ball game in Norman.
We take that.
And they will be going nuts because they were in the Big 12 for years. They feel kind of scorned. They're now in the SEC, and they're hosting Bama, and they beat them 2 times. Tough to beat a team 3 times in a row.
It is.
I know it's not in the same year. 2 of the matchups are in the same year. But they beat them last year in Norman, this year in Tuscaloosa. Now we get again. All right? 1.5-point spread. Now, one more. Miami at A&M.
Heater.
Okay? A&M laying 3. All right? So, and then we got a doubleheader NFL. That's going to crush college football games, but it is what it is. The doubleheader NFL on Saturday is going to be insane. So you've got so much football, not counting all the hoops,
right?
Not counting all the college basketball, and I know some of you are in the NBA, and I love the NBA Live. We're going to a Pelicans game in January. I cannot wait. And whether you go to Memphis or New Orleans or wherever, the venues are great. It's good. But we have a hell of a sports week this week.
Yeah.
And you probably want to check out this this article on Lane Kiffin in the Athletic / New York Times, whichever way you want to go. But people are mad. It's the jilted lover. It's a divorce that was messy. Well, it was even worse than that.
Yeah.
I'm talking,
it was ugly.
People are ticked. Now, there's also excitement for the game this weekend.
Right.
Ole Miss fans probably need this next game now that it's getting here so that they can at least start to wash off, right?
Yeah.
Some of the dirt
trying to get by
from the Lane Ole Miss divorce. And again, in this article, it talks about how they had bought in that he loved Oxford and loved Ole Miss and loved the community. Lane was never staying for another 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 50 years old, which is not old. He works out like a madman. He's in good shape. But Ole Miss fans thought, hey, we're going to keep that I never bought. I mean, LSU's just too difficult to say no to.
Right.
He knows what a monster it is. He knows that the guy that he looks up to, Nick Saban, coach there, he knows that Nick told people it's easier to win at LSU than Bama. And he knows that Pete Carroll got to Southern Cal and won big. I know Lane was there, but he was also there under some tough circumstances because of Carroll and Reggie Bush and all them getting on probation. But it's a good article, and we're going to talk about it even more in the next segment, okay? And the title of the article is What Lane Kiffin Left Behind in Oxford, the Sound and Fury of an Ole Miss Fan Base Scorned. Okay? Lunch today brought to you by the Vodka Rigatoni at Taste Italian Kitchen. Oh, my gosh. Oh, and they've got Balteo tequila, both the Blanco and Reposado. Get you an old-fashioned with the Balteo Reposado. That's Dak Prescott's tequila, 100% blue agave. It's delicious. Good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. You'll want to read the article in The Athletic on the Lane Kiffin Ole Miss. Well, some of you won't, actually. I have Ole Miss friends that are like, I have to just let it go, right? And I get it. When you have a coach. Well, by the way, the Lane Kiffin Ole Miss divorce is what I'm talking about. This article walks you through it in The Athletic. The title of the article is What Lane Kiffin Left Behind in Oxford. The sound and fury of an Ole Miss fan base scorned. Sun Devil Macy on the Golden Moon Casino text line, who's an Ole Miss fan, I thought he nailed it. How could anyone think that Lane Kiffin would not jump for a better job? That is ignorance. I agree with you. Ernest T says, everyone outside of Oxnard knew who this guy was and is. Ole Miss continues to be delusional. Every fan base is delusional when your coach is winning. I'll even give Ole Miss credit. I mean, look, were they cult-like towards Lane and Freeze? Absolutely. Now, nobody can get behind a coach, and I mean get steamroll behind a coach like Ole Miss. I lived the whole Hugh Freeze thing. That was the wildest damn thing we have ever lived in our life.
Lit.
And it was insanity. This one was even more so.
Yeah.
But Lane only left. He didn't leave the program in a tough spot as far as like probation.
Right.
Because it's virtually impossible to get on probation now because everything is legal. Although you still have some programs acting like mice. But you either got to be a lion or you're getting eaten in the SEC. SEC Insider Hit this morning is brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue, the official healthcare provider of the Out of Bounds Show. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi. Bo Bounds, Jackson Meadows, Wes with us. Jay Meadows' birthday today.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, and so happy birthday.
I appreciate it.
What I actually like the sweatshirt you're wearing.
I thought I would catch it. I mean,
the one last week was terrible. This one is, it's still a cheetah or leopard
print.
Is
it zebra print?
Is it zebra?
Is it
zebra?
I don't know. It's kind of, I think it's honestly a digital camouflage, but I'll call it zebra print. I like that.
Is it a skateboarding line?
Yeah, it's Supreme as well.
Okay.
Yeah, yes.
You to not be a skateboarder.
I'm not. Yeah.
You wear a lot of skateboarding gear.
Well, I mean, a lot of times they have the best stuff.
Okay.
They do the drops, weekly, so you get to get in where you can. They're all all relatively somewhat rare if you can get it.
Yeah.
So you're a big Tony Hawk guy.
No, I have no idea. No.
Skateboarder.
Yeah, I know Tony Hawk.
He's made a fortune.
Yeah, I love that guy.
He got into merch.
Oh, he's made more money on video games.
No question. Video games.
Crushed it.
Give that guy a ton of credit. I listened to him on a podcast a couple of months ago. I was flying somewhere. Who was on it?
He's sharp,
Rick Rubin may have had him on, but
he's sharp, right?
He was. I thought he was really sharp.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
He started off in the '80s and built it up, and then got into merch, and then got into, like you said, gaming and video games, and made a lot of money.
Boomed. It's only a skateboard game. It's the only video game ever, pretty much.
Oh, really?
For skateboarding, yeah.
And I'm sure it's called Tony Hawk.
Oh, Tony Hawk Underground.
Okay.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
God knows what he's made on that. He's a multi-millionaire.
Yeah, I'm about to.
And good for him. That's not easy to do. You know, that's kind of a one. Maybe a couple other guys have done well, but good. What's his net worth?
Oh, I just want to let you know that he
100 million.
They generated 1.4 billion in sales. The franchise itself. He turned down a flat royalty fee. His royalty deal was going to be a flat $500K in the beginning. He said no. Thank God.
And what's his net worth?
Let me check his net.
Okay. Somehow we got into Tony Hawk. Oh, your sweatshirt. I do want to let our listeners know.
Dang, you nailed it.
What?
I think you nailed
100
it.
million?
You said it's 120. Yeah, 120, 140.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Right around. Hanging out.
Yeah, now it's just whatever.
Oh, yeah.
He's probably about 55.
He's older. He's getting on up there.
Born in 1968.
So that's right around. It's 57.
Okay.
He'll be 58 in May. He's 6'3".
Built extraordinary. Is he 6'3"?
He's a big boy. That's a lot of height up there on that half pipe.
That's a bird man.
That is a Birdman.
I didn't know he was 6'3".
Big boy.
Tony Hawk.
He's 57 years of age.
The owner,
120 million.
Yeah, but he's the owner. Oh, he was nicknamed the Birdman.
Tony Hawk Enterprises or whatever, and he's got God knows.
Birdhouse.
Okay.
The Birdhouse. Because he's the
Merch,
Birdman.
gaming, and then appearance fees.
Oh, my gosh. His appearance fee is probably ridiculous.
Yeah, he can show up at a conference in Vegas and get paid $100K.
Easily.
Yeah. I mean, that's beautiful when you're there.
Yeah, 100 to 125.
Like Tyson was one of the featured speakers when I was at that sports betting gaming conference a couple months ago in Vegas. So
I would have loved that.
all right, let's see. Sun Devil Macy says, I'll send or drop off birthday cigars for the funk.
All right.
By the way, Tony Hawk is starting a retirement community. Look it up.
Shut up.
I bet that's a party.
Dude, that's got to be awesome.
Man, let's see. Let's go back to the Golden Moon Casino text line. We were talking about the Lane Kiffin article in The Athletic and New York Times about the messy divorce between Lane and Ole Miss. Ole Miss thinking, this is Kenny. Ole Miss thinking they had changed Lane and only Ole Miss Oxford could do that is hilarious, and so Ole Miss.
Yeah, it's very on brand.
We've got some other texts, but I can't get to all of them. But people are weighing in on the Kiffin Ole Miss divorce. Robert M. Here we go. Bo, that Miami A&M game is going to be damn good and will be a fourth quarter game. I think 1917 kind of game. Yeah, I think it could be fantastic. I hope it is. That's for sure. We've got a couple of Pavia emails.
Yeah, I bet.
I have pulled for Pavia and Vandy all year long, but now I hope a garbage truck picks him up and his offensive line and carries them to the dump.
Right.
Damn.
I feel it, dude.
I'm going to still, first of all, he made a mistake.
Yeah, he made a mistake.
And
I still like him.
Look, man, I've said this about him. He came from nothing.
Yeah.
Poor as hell.
Straight up.
Had nothing. Everybody told him his whole life, you won't make it.
Yeah.
You're not tall enough. You're not good enough. He's ridden the JUCO bus and the New Mexico or wherever the hell he came from, New Mexico State bus.
Yeah.
What's the difference? And at Vanderbilt, he's made a fortune, made well into seven figures.
No doubt.
And he's a dog.
I mean, yeah.
And so I hate to tell you, but we see this all the time in sports and we get kind of pearl clutchy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I wasn't surprised that he's a guy who believes, who bet on himself.
Right.
More than anybody else.
Well, he said that.
And he had to because no G5s or Power 4s wanted him. And then he eventually got to a G5 and then he eventually got to a Power 4. That's not going to, just because someone messes up is not going to make me not pull for Diego Pavia.
I'm not going to pull against him.
Okay. So, but you can. And look, some people, I just think, we're in sports. Everybody's cheating.
Yeah, everybody
and
cheats.
yet we're going to, throw Diego, SEC, The league that we cover and we all love has been built on cheating.
No doubt.
And who cheats the best?
That's correct.
As he said.
And who's the dirtiest? And who pays off handlers, coaches, parents, and whoever else?
An art to it.
And brings in, you know.
Bringing in the bread.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah. So I do get, I'll be honest, and maybe it's because I'm sitting in this chair. And look, I mean, college basketball is even dirtier, although football is now in the zip code because of the NIL. And, oh, yeah, because the handlers, the handlers and street agents were already on in basketball. And then when the football opened up, the floodgates, they went there. Obviously, I mean, it's anything. I mean, people are going where AI is.
Yeah, that's right. Where the money at?
I mean, where's the investment money, the private equity, the venture cap? You know, so it's same deal. Just sports. It's just we're emotional,
right,
about sports, and we try to hold it to a standard that's kind of comical, in my opinion, because coaches on a daily basis come out and talk about character and integrity and doing things the right way.
What is that about?
Which is fine. But when you have to do what you have to do to construct your roster, it just kind of cracks me up.
Yeah, it's kind of humorous.
Yeah. I can't Iowa Vanderbilt on New Year's Eve.
Snoozer.
ReliaQuest Bowl. Tampa. I will still be pulling for Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't condone what he did, but I'm also not going to sit here. I mean, you can go to a travel ball tournament this weekend and parents will show their ass way more than Diego.
Right. Oh, yeah, but.
And they're 30, 40, and 50 years old.
True.
Not counting grandparents. So, I mean, there are women who will get up and turn around and shake their bottoms at the other team when, like, a kid scores.
That's what
a
they're
run
doing out
or
there?
a bucket.
I've seen it 100 times.
Okay. Well, you've umpired baseball. So,
I need to get out there.
You know, did you say you need to get out there?
Yeah, if they're doing
what
all
does that mean?
It depends on who's shaking what.
Okay. Oh, because people are shaking their money makers.
Yeah, I'm in on that.
I mean, people are out there doing, you got men doing the pelvic thrust.
So why are they thrusting and who?
Because somebody hits a 2-run double get to the gap.
That's thrustable.
Or a 3-pointer.
If that's a thrustable occasion, I'm in.
Dude, you know it would take you 30 seconds on TikTok to see people
thrusting,
acting.
Look, I've seen
that would say, hold my beer to Diego Pavia.
No doubt.
I've seen a dying quail off a bat, and people go absolutely crazy.
Say quail or whale?
Quail.
Okay, all right.
Like a dying quail, like over the second baseman's head, and parents are going absolutely
I'm trying to see some of these spells.
So, Bama fan on the Golden Moon Casino text line says it's the second coming of Johnny Manziel. He's going to be in rehab. I'm not going there yet. I don't. While I think he's flamboyant and flashy, and he's very passionate, has a big personality, and I think his family has a big personality. I'm not ready to go that he's going to crash and burn quite like Johnny Manziel.
No.
He's got a chance to leverage the Vanderbilt alumni base and make it once the pro thing goes wherever it goes, he's got a chance to still be a hero within the Vanderbilt, deal.
Well, we talk about it all the time, how, what their next move is after football, because the majority of them don't go pro. If you're an insurance salesman, that's great. What if he sold insurance in Nashville? He'd do whatever he wants, right?
Or even something like
up there, yeah.
Private equity.
Oh, yeah.
Or real estate or something like that.
Right. I agree, Vandy not being in with James Madison, and this is Robert. Vandy not being in the college football playoff with James Madison and Tulane in is absurd. Vandy most definitely is a top 12 team if we are judging best, but we aren't rewarding the best. No, we're not. We are not rewarding the best. Don't get mixed up. This is not the 12 best teams in college football. It's, there's they're still determined to include the G5. I think because financially, the G5 gets a pretty nice cut when they get a team in. This year they got 2. Okay? So that's I couldn't agree more. Neither one of those teams deserve to be in the college football playoff. James Madison or Tulane. All right, I think we're going to have a special guest here. Owner of the Velvet Ditch in Oxford, who we quoted in the article in the New York Times. We got a few minutes here. So it's in the Athletic and the New York Times this morning. And the name of the article, the title, is What Lane Kiffin Left Behind in Oxford, the Sound and Fury of an Ole Miss Fan Base Scorned. And so Jared Foster is the owner of the Velvet Ditch Bar and Grill. And it was Lane Kiffin's favorite place. And he said that they had raised $50,000 to build a statue for the coach. And we have Jared Foster, owner of the Velvet Ditch Bar and Grill in Oxford, Mississippi. Jared, good morning. How you doing, buddy?
Fantastic. I appreciate you guys bringing me on for a minute.
Yeah.
Doing all right?
Yeah, we're doing great, man. You're on ESPN 105.9 The Zone. So I've known about you because Patrick Kelly owns Finch and Kelly in Oxford.
Yeah. Second family to us. Great people.
Yeah, super people. And he, I do like 3 or 4 shows up there for him every year. And he had mentioned well over a year ago that Lane had fallen in love with your restaurant and bar. And we kind of walked through that. He talked about how cool a spot you had opened. So how many times a month roughly was Lane Kiffin in the Velvet Ditch?
Oh man, there was sometimes 2 to 3 times in a week. Obviously not drinking, just showing support and, bringing, obviously little us, a big face. It was huge. We really appreciated what Lane did. I mean, he was supporting us. We had so many people asking if he was an owner, and he was invested. I mean, he talked to me, one-on-one about investing in me and other places and stuff. Me and him have a great relationship still to this day. Obviously the relationship, being an Ole Miss fan is, a little sour, but that's just because we're Ole Miss fans. But he was there all the time, dude. He, it became the recruiting spot. It still is. We basically got all the official visits for Ole Miss football this year, and basketball stepped in pretty heavy too. So things are good up here.
What was his number one? What was Lane Kiffin's number one go-to on your menu, Jared?
He actually eats pretty healthy. That was one thing for sure. Every time he came in, he was always eating healthy. He usually stuck with the same thing. So with us, if he came in, we had chicken pasta, shrimp pasta. Jackson Dart came with him quite often, pre-scoring. So they were up there a good bit. And, even when Lane didn't come in to eat, even if he just had friends in town, he was sending them to our place. Many hours spent at the tables on recruiting visits, him bringing guys in, me talking to them, about how amazing Oxford is, and speaking of the Velvet Ditch in general. Teaching them what the definition meant. You saw Lane tweet about the Velvet Ditch quite often. I think we helped bring the name a lot louder this year to Oxford. Obviously it's been the Velvet Ditch since the 60s, with the William Faulkner coining it that. But the name itself has gotten loud, and Lane helped us push that.
What do you think? I mean, how beneficial was he to your business?
From a sales standpoint, I'm not going to say that our sales increased at all. We haven't had any availability since the day we've opened on the weekends. It's just, we're a billboard on the square now. We're in such a great location in a great city with a phenomenal product and a great staff. But, he helped us when it came to people, I would say, out of the city limits of Oxford seeing our brand. I won't so much say that, him sharing it in Oxford was, getting us any busier here. But what it did do is it helped people respect that, the athletes were welcome here and their families were welcome here for visits. And, you think about small Oxford for a second. You bring somebody from Miami and that's never seen, or Chicago, wherever, big city living, and they've never seen a small place like this. You really want to give them no weird moments, right? I mean, imagine being a kid with his parents on a recruiting visit. They come to Oxford, and this is a completely different town than they're used to. They've never seen a place like this. So the Velvet Ditch is not a quiet place. We've got music playing. It's more of your, obviously, sports bar with great food. And it just helps keep the experience, pretty light, should I say. So I think Lane fell in love with it for recruiting purposes in that direction. And I mean, you know, me and Lane had even talked about, you know, before I knew he was going to Baton Rouge, we had talked about, you know, franchising this into SEC, you know, cities, and he had spoken about getting invested in with us too. So there was a growing relationship within that. Definitely a weird exit for sure.
When did you think he was staying? And if you did, when did you know he was leaving?
You know, we had already, you know, had talked about putting the statue up, and, you know, we were trying to decide if we were going to do it between, you know, him or just him and his family, to billboard up in the air, what we were going to do. Obviously, there was some question there on what the plan was, and then I thought he was leaving. Look, me knowing Lane's final destination wasn't Oxford before he came, I kind of had already accepted that through the whole process of him being here as an Ole Miss fan. And we grew up celebrating Liberty Bowls, so I'm good with just having proper leadership in the building.
Sure.
Man. I'm not the Ole Miss fan that expects us to go 11-1. You know, if we go 8-4 with a proper leader teaching, you know, Christian morals and, you know, family values, I think we're in better hands at that point than we are 11-1. Not sure who's leading us, but when Lane, you know, hinted that when he wasn't willing to say what he was doing, that was definitely a sign, because it was like, look, you're calling this place the Velvet Ditch, you're calling it home. You've got the anchor of your son being a phenomenal. He became a star here. Knox became a star in Oxford. Landry loves Oxford, should I say. So I felt like they were staying for a bit. Then the last 2 weeks, man, I knew it. I kept telling my family, I was like, guys, he's leaving. Like, there's too much going on. He's leaving. And, of course, people wanted to believe the difference, you know, believe in the better part of, you know, the story, that he was going to stay and ride it off for at least the next 2 years with his kids here. But I felt like the last 2 weeks he was leaving. And that was, you know, when he sent me a picture and a text message of the painting, I have a painting of him and Jackson Dart. When he sent me a picture of the painting and said, I want this, that was like, wait, why do you want this? It's hanging in the center of the square. Like, why would you want this in your bedroom? And he was serious. You know, he wanted the painting, so I had to take the painting down, because obviously I wasn't going to leave it up, and I don't want it to get destroyed. It's a phenomenal painting, expensive painting by an awesome artist named Grizzle, and a friend of ours. And we ended up pulling the painting down. I spoke to Lane 2 days ago. Lane's going to get the painting from me. Had so many people telling me to burn it, destroy it. Man, we just can't do that. I'm not going to do that to the artist, and in return, it's just not the kind of business or people we are. So it's been quite the transition for sure.
Jared Foster, owner of the Velvet Ditch Bar and Grill, Lane Kiffin's favorite place. Of course, the place is always packed right there on the square in Oxford. Jared, we appreciate it. The only reason I'm letting you go is because the show's over and I've got to go to a commercial break, but we'll have to do this again. We can't thank you enough for hanging out with us today.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys so much. God bless. Looking forward to it.
All right. Jared Foster, owner of the Velvet Ditch Bar and Grill, who got to know Lane Kiffin as well as you could get to know Lane, right? And that was Lane's go-to spot, and that's where he took recruits and so on. It's where the old Abner's was, so most everybody knows that from the last 40 years. Hey, thanks for listening to the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Lunch today brought to you by Taste Italian Kitchen, and you'll need to go online. TasteItalianKitchen.com and enjoy their amazing sandwiches, wood-fired pizzas, and pastas. And the bar is fabulous. Happy birthday to Jackson Meadows.
All right.
We're going to send him to some fun places. Taste Italian Kitchen in Kessler Prime. We'll see you tomorrow.